What is a Wesleyan? A story of fire, freedom, and faithful resistance. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making me feel so welcome. This morning we don't have PowerPoint, but that's okay. It reminds me of my little church back home, 136 years old, built by 12 faithful people right in the middle of nowhere. Things don't always work the way we want, but God is still here. Someone asked me a beautiful question. What is a Wesleyan minister? What is a Wesleyan? It's not just a name, it's a story of fire, freedom, and faithful resistance. Let's step back to the early 1700s in England. The Church of England had grown cold and lifeless. Religion was stiff, detached from real life. Into that world were born John and Charles Wesley, 2 of 19 children. Their father, Samuel, was an Anglican priest, and their mother, Susanna, was the real spiritual force in their lives. Their childhood was marked by hardship, but also providence. When John was 5, the family home caught fire. Neighbors rescued him moments before the roof collapsed. He later described himself as a brand plucked from the burning, Zechariah chapter 3, verse 2. From then on, he knew he was saved for a reason. Susanna shaped their faith. In a house full of children, she carved out sacred time with God, lifting her apron over her head in prayer. When the apron went up, the children knew, Mom is meeting with God. Both John and Charles became Anglican priests, hoping to revive the church. At Oxford, they formed the Holy Club, devoted to prayer, fasting, study, serving the poor, and discipleship. Their methodical habits earned them the nickname Methodists. In 1735, they sailed to the colony of Georgia. The voyage was brutal. During a storm, English passengers panicked, but a group of German Moravians sang hymns with peace and joy. John realized he had religion, but not trust, duty, but not peace. Georgia was a disaster. John was strict, made enemies, and even fell in love with a woman named Sophie, but botched the relationship. When she married another man, John, in wounded pride, refused her communion. Her husband sued him. Humiliated, John returned to England with his tail between his legs. Back in London, he sought out the Moravians. On May 24, 1738, at a prayer meeting on Aldersgate Street, he heard Luther's preface to Romans read aloud, and something happened. John wrote, I felt my heart strangely warmed. I felt I did trust in Christ, Christ alone for salvation. An assurance was given me that he had taken away my sins, even mine, and saved me from the law of sin and death. Grace, not works. Faith, not fear. That night, the flame of revival was lit. Charles had a similar encounter days earlier, overwhelmed with joy and love for God. Together, their warmed hearts burst into wildfire. John rode on horseback, preaching Christ in fields, coal mines, and marketplaces. He said if Satan didn't attack him in a day, he hadn't done enough for the gospel. Charles poured theology into hymns, over 6,500 of them. Music, he knew, shaped faith more deeply than sermons. They weren't trying to start a new denomination. They wanted to renew the Anglican Church. But the flame spread. John denounced slavery as the sum of all villainies. Early Methodists fought against slavery, even at great cost. Some churches became part of the Underground Railroad, hiding slaves in hollow pews and risking their lives for justice. For Wesleyans, holiness was never retreating from suffering. It meant stepping right into it. Wesleyans also affirmed women in ministry long before society did. In 1864, they ordained their first woman before women were even considered persons by law in Canada or allowed to vote. Leaders like Phoebe Palmer led rambunctious holiness meetings in their kitchens, fueling revival movements across the land. Later, the Wesleyan and Pilgrim holiness traditions merged into the Wesleyan church we know today. Romans chapter 12, verses 1 to 2 calls us to offer our bodies as living sacrifices. The same Spirit poured out at Pentecost that filled John and Charles is alive today, but unless we tend it, the flame goes out. It's easy to privatize faith or retreat into comfort, but the call of Micah still stands: act justly, love mercy, walk humbly. Maybe the church today feels smaller, colder, even like a remnant, but God has always used the few to ignite the many. He used house churches, fields, wells, and marketplaces to change the world. He still does. So maybe today is your Aldersgate. Maybe today God is warming your heart for the lost, the lonely, the broken, and the imprisoned. May you have the courage of the Wesleys, the conviction of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and the compassion of Corrie ten Boom. May you carry the torch of the Spirit until the whole world is lit with the love of Christ. Thank you for allowing me to share. After the service, I have prepared a traditional Newfoundland meal for you, fisherman's brews. Be mindful, it may have a few bones. And though others may offer the benediction, I always finish with these words: go with God and always stay spicy. Reverend Peggy, pastor on a park bench.